start, as usual, on the injuries, Nigel. Obviously, had concerns over Reece Burke and Eric Lehigh last week. How are they?
Yes, big concerns about them for the weekend.
Right. Have they not trained this week?
They've not been back in with the group yet. So this is Thursday morning press conference. So obviously they need to be classed as very doubtful for the weekend.
Do you anticipate them training today?
We'll see. Obviously, this is a morning press conference, so we'll just see how the day unfolds. But I would have to turn around and say it's very unlikely they'll be fit.
Right. And I guess with Christmas coming up and so many games, you don't take risks, do you?
You're right, you don't take risks, but at the end of the day, I've got to see if they're in a position to take a risk with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
If you have to change the centre of defence, obviously people would look at Jordi Device and his recent struggles. Would you have any hesitations starting him?
The video. You need some glasses, by the way. You were squinting awfully. Yeah. No issues at all. I thought he was superb when he came on Saturday. Obviously, we talked about situations before, left him out. I thought when he came on Saturday, he won his headers, he cleared the ball really well, he was dominant, he looked confident. I thought he did really well when he came on. Yeah.
Do you sit the player down in those situations when he's had difficulties and you bring him out of the team? Do you explain why?
Yeah.
Do you need to?
Yes, I have done. I do. And I think that's important. You know, players need to know that they've got my full support. Obviously, I've got to make decisions, and likewise, they need to know what they've got to improve on, and how we can help them, and how they can help themselves. So it's all together, trying to make sure we get the right outcome and help the players develop.
That'd be one option to come in. Obviously, you've got a left back to fill if no Eric Lehigh. Stephen Kingsley going to be fit?
I say it'd be a doubt at the moment.
Right. And the same question on Nuadiko and Evandro. Would you anticipate?
Evandro will not be fit for the weekend. Nua, touch and go.
Right. It's quite a stretched squad then at the minute.
Yeah. Hey, it's what it is. I'm sure a lot of other football clubs have been in exactly the same situation.
Last week you spoke about John Terrell having a little setback and you'd assess him. How serious is the setback?
He's not fit for the weekend. We'd like to think it's not too serious, but it is a bit of a setback. So it's frustrating for John, frustrating for ourselves, but we've got to deal with that.
And not that you need them, but any other concerns going into the weekend?
There's one or two other little ones, but there we go. It's what football is.
Yeah. Just from last night, because it was such a big night for the under-18s, just a word on their victory, if you would.
It was excellent. I was there watching them. I thought they did really well deserved. It could have been like 10-6, I think, in the game, something like that. It was created some good chances. I thought our goalkeeper played well. The lads, the spirit was really good. You know, 2 good goals that were scored, so there could have been more. Good performances all round. And for me, one of the big pleasing things was, because we're trying to make sure the culture is right at this football club, one of the big things was the amount of people there to watch the game. But the final whistle, the lads who are in the first team now, the under-23s as well, who have come through that system, they were all there and they were all giving all the lads pats on the backs and hugs and everything at the final whistle. So again, we're trying to see if we can make sure we can keep developing a culture at our football club, but it's an us, it's a togetherness all the way through. There's a pathway for the youngsters to come all the way through the system, and likewise when they do come through the system, they appreciate where they've come from and they're supportive of that. So it's that one ethos of the football club of all being together, and that was really pleasing to go and see.
Did you ask the players, the first team players, to go, or did they do it off their own back?
No, the ones that are there, they've all gone off their own back. So it's good. It's what we're after. You know, it's. I'm really pleased. You know, it's the culture. So you know, we're here. I think it's very important when you go in somewhere, you look to help improve a culture, and that's the starting block. And it's the values and standards that you have. And for me, that was really good. The work rate, the commitment, some of the ability that the under-18s produced last night was top draw. Really good performance. I think our groundsman might be a little bit, he needs an arm around his shoulder this morning because the amount of rain we had yesterday, wow, so that obviously affected the pitch a little bit. But great credit to the whole of the academy, you know.
One individual I wanted to ask about from the...
It was a fantastic goal. I actually thought it was Greaves who scored the goal to start off with, because it came in from a cross and a header. He was so high off the ground, and it's a towering header that he's gone and scored from. But he's got a great jump. He trains with the first team. He has trained with the first team. Yeah.
How close is he to your thoughts?
I think about all the players, and again, age has never been a barrier to me at any football club that I've been at. You know, when he's come up and trained with us, he's actually found it challenging. The level has been quite, when he's been around the players, and he admittedly it's tough, but it's good. So it's that cascade learning. Come in, sample it, see it, know what it's all about, go back, help the under-23s, help the under-18s when you're playing with them, come back again. This is the standard that we're after. Keep developing, keep improving. You realise you've got to graft hard. It's not as if you're playing with the under-18s, you're now playing with the big boys as it is, and it's so much tougher. It's such a different level. So it's good for him to sample it, experience it, and that's what we're looking to do. Keep the players coming forward and back, seeing it, seeing the standards that's required, and again, driving that culture, making sure there's a pathway for them. And what we want to do is make sure that they come and stay with us. Young Max Sheaf signed his new contract yesterday. He's been training with us, as you know, Brandon Fleming's been training with us. Robbie McKenzie in the team, who I thought he did excellent when he played the other day against, when he had to come on in the left back position against Queen's Park Rangers. Been training with us consistently. So again, Dan Batty before that, you know, it's in, see it, understand how we want to go and function, driving that culture. It's a long-term process. You know, things don't happen overnight. It's the process that goes on, and we want to, you know, the vision of the football club has to be sustainability, but I'll take that to one side. There should always be a pathway for the youngsters, and we do that. So, you know, Keno scored a great goal, and he's up and he's in and around it, and it's really good.
Given he's signed a new contract now, what would your hopes be for Max Sheaf?
Keep developing and keep progressing the way he's doing it. Sometimes when a player signs a new contract, they have a little bit of a dip, so we've got to make sure that we keep on top of him with that. But his attitude and his behaviours have been spot on. That's why he's got the new contract, because he's come in to start pre-season, hasn't been phased, he's developed, he's developing for an 18-year-old, physically developing all the time. His attitude to work hard, he's surrounded, he sees everybody else working hard, he understands that that's what you've got to go and do. He's got ability, he's very good in possession of the football, and he knows that he's got to play quick if he's going to be with us, and that's what he's got to go and do. So by being in our environment, I'd like to think it's going to make him a better player.
Opposite end of the age spectrum is David Marshall. How pleased are you with him this season, and just because he had such a good game last week?
He's been consistently good. I think the first game against Aston Villa he might have made a mistake. After that he's been a level of consistency. As he was last year, you know, he was number 2 to Greg's last year. You know, Greg made one mistake last year, that was Leeds away. The rest of the time he was outstanding. So we got good pros. So again, the culture you want at your football club is the right characters with the right work ethic and team ethic that you've got. And then underneath that we got George Long. So Marshy knows that he's got to perform because he sees and trains with George every day, George Long, that if he doesn't, George is ready to take his place. And believe you me, George is ready to take his place because George is an excellent goalkeeper and he's been demonstrated that. So we got a good competition for places. Competition for places drives performance. That's what we're after. But Marshy, again, the mentality that you've got to deal with it, he's had to wait for his opportunity. For me, he's taken it really, really well. He's a good leader amongst the group. Scottish international at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Good player, good character, and the run of games he's got, he's grown from strength to strength and strength. So that's really, really pleasing.
Have you seen a change in his body language from 12 months ago? Because when you arrived at the club, I imagine he was a bit down, was he?
He was. Obviously, we touched before about speaking with players, and I do speak with players a lot. And obviously, but David understood the situation. I've got to make a decision. Having been in goal myself, sometimes you just have to realise one's playing, one's not. But how are you going to give yourself an opportunity to play? It's by training hard all the time, and then when the opportunity does come, you're ready for it. And I must say, but they got a good working relationship last year. Obviously, Barry Richardson, we brought in, excellent goalkeeping coach. And again, when we talk about the youngsters, Harrison played last night for the under-18s. They're up training with us, with the first team, the whole group, the understanding of how to help develop each other, the level that's required, the standards that's required, and they graft hard. But it's really, really good. And David, being the number 1 at the moment, leads that. You know, he's accepting of the youngsters. They come in, they train hard. Him and George Long work extremely well together, and I think that's important as well. You've got to try and get the best out of each other. So I'm really pleased with that. The whole goalkeeper department.
David's out of contract in the summer. When will you address that?
Like a lot of players, they need to be addressed. I'd like to think me and the owner will be sitting down. The present owner might be the new owner, I haven't got a clue. But we'll sit down. Obviously these things need to be addressed because obviously the January transfer window every day gets closer and closer, and we need to make sure that we've got a plan in place. Whatever that, like the country's at this moment in time politically, it's whatever it is, there needs to be a plan. So from my point of view, obviously the sooner we can just establish where we are from that point of view, great. At the moment we're getting through it, and you've seen with the performances there's a togetherness and spirit about the whole team, the team ethos, and which is really good. And you come down, and every day we're down here at the training ground in Cottingham, the environment is very, very good. So again, it's about being able to implement the right culture that you believe is right for the long term. That doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes there's a lot of real good things that are in place that you keep, and there's things that you want to go and you change that. And from our point of view, I'm really pleased with the way things are going behind the scenes and the way we operate down here at the training ground. Now, that is obviously, it's only reflected on the results and performances on match day on a Saturday. But I'd like to think we're giving ourselves an opportunity, and I'd like to think you've seen, the last two away games, for example, we scored 3 goals in both games, and they've been really exciting. I think we put some really good performances in. But there's a big togetherness with everybody, and that's important. And even when things have been against us and we've been in the bottom 3 for a long period of time, you've not seen an unwavering, nothing's been unwavering. There's been consistent messages and a consistent work ethic and team ethos throughout the football club, or throughout our club here.
Given what happened last summer with the players leaving on freeze, I guess you'd like to see David Marshall tied down sooner rather than later, though. Yeah,
as I said, we need to establish which direction we're going to go in this next window, and that needs to be addressed. So whilst the imminent talk of the takeover being done before Christmas, the uncertainty is there. Now, is it or isn't it? That uncertainty is not ideal, but you have to understand that's what it is. So we'll just keep making sure we're doing the right things here. As I said, I'm really happy with David Marshall.
Is it going to happen before Christmas?
I really don't know is the answer. I don't think anybody is in a position, well, the owners are the only ones who are in a position to go and say anything about it. But as it stands, crack on, keep doing what we're doing. And again, very good performance and victory in the last game. Very good team spirit. Again, a camaraderie and a togetherness throughout the football club, which is important.
Happy anniversary for tomorrow. What's your highlight been in the last 12 months?
Speaking with you, everything. Sure. I'm very happy. Obviously, myself, Andy Crosby came in, and Andy Crosby's been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. We've come in. We talk about culture. There's good people at this football club, and I think I'm really pleased with that and how everyone wants to work hard. Obviously, Tony Pennick came in, invaluable at that period of time. We've got good people at this football club who work extremely hard. We've got a togetherness. I think that's an important message. And everyone wants to do well. Yes, we've had to change again in the summer. I'd like to think adapted a culture that gave us an opportunity to stay up, and we did that. Sunderland would have loved to have done that, for example. So it's never easy. I'd like to think we put some really good things in place. Let's give ourselves an opportunity to stay in the division, which was the one thing. I'd like to look at the long-term view of how we can have the plan in place to make sure we've got a pathway for the youngsters, that we've got a consistent pathway of players coming through, a way of playing, a togetherness with the supporters. But it's kind of like, if you like, we've just been firefighting one week to the next just to try and scramble a result. That's that one. But we've put real good building blocks in place behind the scenes to give the foundation for moving forward as a football club. And I think that's always important, the culture that you try and drive. But understanding what football is. I want the supporters they're massive for the football club. And I want the supporters to enjoy everything. So we've done what we can to engage with the supporters. We live in a world where everyone wants the immediacy of something. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time where you've got to turn around and say, right, get your culture right to start off with. Get the right people in to start off with. And you've got your direction, you can keep building from there, you know. And I like to think in a year we've done a lot of good things behind the scenes.
What would your hopes be for a second year then?
As I say, it's the building of a continuum. There's not many managers who last longer than a year now, I'll be honest with you, because that is the changing face of football, unfortunately. So understand that, realise that's what it is. However, for a football club, there should be a culture, and then you keep recruiting to the culture that you've got. I think it starts at the top and it filters all the way down. So I think it's important, and you know, I've really enjoyed my time here. There's all the challenges to come.